Hey, peace family, it's Jay Morrison. I want to hop right into this, and I want to talk about the current climate in the world, especially here in America, the racial climate. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, the list goes on. Alfred Wright, Tamir Rice, Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, right? The list goes on, Eric Garner, etc. But I want to start, I'm a better teacher than I am an orator or speaker. And then next to that, I'm a better executor and leader in the idea of implementing solutions. So my end goal for us today, I'm gonna talk about solutions. I'm not gonna talk about rhetoric and narrative, but I wanna start here. First and foremost, narrative. Narrative is your story, it's your messaging, it's what you call and brand something, and we have not properly controlled our narrative. Some of us call this racial injustice, right? Police brutality, etc. I totally disregard that narrative, and we need to level up our narrative, call it what it is, and what you see happening to black people in America for the last 450 plus years, what you've seen happening recently, that is what's called persecution. This is the language. Persecution is the language. What you also call it is tyranny. I want you guys to look at these words. Persecution is when a targeted group of people are being murdered, being brutalized. And this, we have the data and the history to prove this. It's not police brutality. This is just not stop and frisk. This is not just racial injustice. This is literal persecution of a people. It's tyranny by a government. This is genocide. The genocide of a people. These are human rights. Human rights, not civil rights. These are human rights infractions and violations by the American government. These are crimes against humanity. We have been letting the media, letting those with a limited perspective control our narrative. What you see happening, when you see people, again, narrative, right? I'm gonna come to solutions later. When you see people, see people rebelling, and pardon any spelling errors, let's not be that small and petty right now. I'm a better mathematician than I am English student. People rebelling, revolting, right? You like to use the word rioting and looting, but was it rioting and looting when what America calls its forefathers and patriots overturned in the Boston Tea Party? Was that rioting and looting? Or was that defending their freedom when it benefited those who you deem it okay to do so? Is it rioting and looting when America goes into foreign lands they don't even own and murder and kill and bomb? Is that rioting and looting, or is that defending freedom across the world? So why is it rioting and looting and so wrong, right? For all you, I want to go into that whole non-violent crap. Was America non-violent in how it obtained America? Is America non-violent in how it maintains control? And is Great Britain non-violent and the European nations non-violent in how they control over 3/4 of the world's landmass? Were the missionary crusades non-violent to bring Christianity all throughout the world? Was America's treatment of the Native Americans, the enslaved Africans, the Aborigines, was that non-violent? Or is the police treatment, police who are the former slave catchers, that's where it originated from, after enslavement, pre or in our enslavement, there were no police. Policing was created post our enslavement through the convict leasing system, then policing was created, and have those police, the government, extension of the government, its armed forces locally, have they been nonviolent? How is it violent? How do you categorize in narrative it violent to protect one's freedom from persecution, from tyranny, from genocide, from brutality, and from human rights crimes? How is that categorized as violence? How is a counteract of protection and self-defense violence, but you do not have the same energy when it comes to the rioting and looting and the violence committed by and allowed by an entire government? So we put that narrative on people. You want to call them looters and protesters. These are revolutionaries rebelling against tyranny, against genocide, and against persecution. If a German shepherd, if a dog died with a man putting his knee in a dog's neck, and after the dog was unconscious or dead, left his knee and dug his knee into the dog, would the dog protection agencies and PETA and others, would they not rebel? Of a dog. We watched a human life be taken in that way, and so many others. Eric Garner couldn't breathe. Trayvon Martin couldn't get Skittles and go on a walk. Ahmaud Arbery, he jogged, but we also saw Ahmaud Arbery fight for his life. It's your God-given and our God-given inalienable right to fight for our life and our freedom. So what we're not connecting is revolution is connected to the tyranny and the persecution. When the Jews fought back in camps, or during their internment camps, or their enslavement, their Holocaust, was it violent to fight back against the Nazis? Should they be nonviolent? Should they not rebel? And there's so much other persecution throughout the world. So should America, when 9/11 happened, should America not have fought back? Was that violent for America to fight back? Should America have been nonviolent when 9/11 happened? When they were at war. So the perspective is people are not considering that black people, Africans in America, people of color, that there's not a war against them. So you must acknowledge there is a war of genocide, of tyranny, of persecution, of human rights violations happening against people of color, particularly black people and Africans and Americans in America. So if we don't recognize that this is a war happening against us, is there a war-like attack happening against us, you then see it as petty and as small as rioting and looting. It's a people that are figuring out whatever way they can to make noise, to make essentially smoke, literally, to draw attention to their persecution, even if they're not even informed enough to know what they're feeling is actually persecution. I'm informed enough to know. That's leadership, being informed enough to know. So let's talk about leadership. Again, narrative. We use this word leader all the time. People always saying, it's this new thing that's been interjected into the culture. We don't need any leaders. We just need a code. Well, I disagree. Those people who've said that, I guarantee you they've never led anything significant in their lives. No disrespect. I just disagree. I do believe we need a code, but that code must be every organization you know, every nation you know, every movement you know has been led by someone, a visionary, a CEO, a leader of the organization. Every family you know, every basketball team you know, every football team you know has a leader. How have you now defined new out of all society, every dynasty you ever heard of? From Mansa Musa to Kemet to everywhere, everyone's had a leader. So how do you say all of a sudden, oh, we don't need a leader? We absolutely do need a leader. And we do need a code. But what leadership is not followers, it's not likes. Leadership is not narrative, not good orators. To lead means there must be a destination. So I posted on my Instagram about leaders, and everyone said, well, this one's a leader and that one's a leader. Well, who the hell has the proper desired destination, and then a leader has a plan? So a leader has a vision, a leader has a destination, and a leader has a plan. So stop calling rappers, actors, athletes, activists, business moguls, whomever, stop calling them a leader. They are not a leader. They do not have a vision for us, a plan for us, and a desired destination for us, and the ability to help motivate, excite us, and to get us there. That's not a leader. I watch people just pull up anyone and just call them a leader because they're a motivator. because they have a lot of followers, because they made you feel good, because they help you flip a house. I am not a leader if I do not have a vision, a plan, and a desired destination for our people to end our persecution, tyranny, genocide, and to solve these human rights violations. Not one person you know is, unless they can provide this for you or a body of work of this. A book and a panel and merchandise does not make you a leader. A platinum album, a global brand, and followers does not make you a leader. A leader means you have a desired destination, you have a plan to get there, a vision to get there, and you have the energy to be able to sustain and to get there for our people. So I want to redefine leadership for us, because we have a whole improper narrative as a culture. That's a leader. So everyone you think and you question as a leader, you got to prove they have a plan, they have a vision, and they have a desired destination for our people. Otherwise, they are not a leader in our community, whether it be the code or a group of leaders. They're not a leader. All right, so we got to redefine leadership. It's not who's coolest and who posts the most Instagram videos. Desired destination. Lastly, when we talk about destination and solutions, destination solutions. I've been yelling this, screaming this. I've been mentored about this for the last several years. And my mentor told me, you got to get the going. You got to get the doing. Stop talking about it. Our solution for to end our tyranny, genocide, human rights violations, our persecution here in America, historical persecution, proven persecution. How we do it is we first have to organize ourselves. How we organize ourselves in a human rights way. Organize ourselves for the desired destination to get to world court. I know some of you guys are so smart, you're so written, everybody got an opinion. We've never tried effectively world court. You may say it won't work, but guess what? The shit we doing now won't work. It don't work. It's proven. So if you want to try the same civil policies, the same protesting, the same marching, the same petitions, we've seen, Malcolm talked about it in the 60s. And Malcolm even said, all the bright minds of our community have said, who've been doing the liberation work, for African people in America have said, we got to go to world court and leverage international relationships and international law to end our human rights violations, crimes against humanity, our genocide and persecution. So where I desire to take us and move us to is to the world court to be able to present our case for human rights violations on a global stage, right? And how that happens is, once we identify with this destination, is we first hold a tribunal and plebiscite. Plebiscite is a public vote. And what that does is Africans in America, African Americans, black people, are not a legitimate nationality or group of people recognized by the Supreme Court or the World Court. Therefore, we cannot have a seat at the World Court. Our path to having a seat at the World Court to be able to bring our persecution to the global stage is we must hold a tribunal to hold America guilty for all of its crimes and present our case in a legal fashion. We'll do it here at the Black House. After the tribunal, same day, same time, we hold a plebiscite. It's a public vote of a like-kind people, peoples with an S. You do the research. People is different than peoples with an S. Peoples are people of a nation or of a tribe or of a like kind, meaning us, who have been displaced, but who are now organizing themselves and voting on who they are legally, legitimately, and as a nationality, right, even without land. That plebiscite allows us then, 3, to be acknowledged by a sovereign nation, another nation, any African nation, Caribbean nation, European nation, or whatever nation. If they acknowledge us through our plebiscite as a legitimate people, they can then endorse us to have a seat at the World Court as an observer and begin to bring our crimes of humanity to the international court. And then we have a country, a nation, to back us, similar to what we've seen with other genocide and other persecutions happen all around the world. The issue is we have not organized ourselves in a way to allow another nation to even embody us, because we're not doing nation-to-nation business, government-to-government business. We have not led ourselves and organized ourselves in a way to be legitimate enough for anyone to take us serious. All they see is rioters and looters. They don't see an organized group of people looking to end their oppression. The other word I did not use over here, oppression. Look it up. A burdensome treatment of a people by a system or government. We can end our oppression and have a desired destination. It's not going to happen by burning down Saks Fifth Ave. Although I respect the rebellion. It's not going to happen by even taking aim at local law enforcement. It's not going to happen by local or civil policy. Those are Band-Aids. We have a comprehensive problem. And anyone that we define as a leader must have a comprehensive answer and a comprehensive strategy and a comprehensive destination, desired destination for us, and a plan. So this is the plan and my take on rest in power George Floyd, rest in power Breonna Taylor, rest in power Ahmaud Arbery. I've been quiet to a degree. I obviously have opinions on those specific cases, but we'll always be reactionary. I was on the ground with Freddie Gray in 2015. I was on the ground in Baton Rouge with Alton Sterling. I was on the ground with Otis Byrd. I was on the ground with Alpha Wright. I was on the ground with Shakezia Clemens. I've been in the streets. I've been with cops on the roof with snipers in front of a riot gear. We can do that all day. We'll continue to have to do that, but we must implement, execute, and believe in a comprehensive plan, and we must control our narrative. It's not rioting and looting. It's rebellion and revolution against persecution, oppression, tyranny, and genocide, and it's about stopping the war and attack on our people. If the same things happening to us were happening to Jews in Israel right now by Palestine, Iraq, or Iran, the world would be at arms. If a Jewish man in Israel died with a knee on his neck by a man from Iraq, Iran, Turkey, or Palestine, that whole country would be bombed down. It wouldn't be violent. To their narrative, it would be protection. It would be retaliation. It would be defense. It's the same thing when it happens to Africans in America. We must control and change our narrative and adopt and change our destination and redefine what and who we see as leaders in leadership. If your leadership has no vision and has no plan and desired destination, they are not leading you, they're entertaining you. Thank you.